I'm not teaching, I am publicly learning. But hi and welcome to Learning for the Life in the UK test, part 58. The beginning of the English Civil War, that is on page 28, while doing shoulder impingement training. And if you participate in the shoulder impingement training, that is at your own risk. So we just had that Elizabeth I was reigning skillfully, and she could manage skillfully the House of Lords and House of Commons of the Parliament. But her inheritors, James I of England and Charles I, were not so skillful. Both believed in the divine right of kings, so that they were appointed by God and could rule without Parliament's approval. And that worked 11 years for King Charles. But then trouble came with Scotland, and he had to recall the Parliament. And now we are going on with the next section. The beginning of the English Civil War. Charles I wanted to explain the Roman numbers. We're going to do that. Charles I wanted the worship of the Church of England to include more ceremony and introduced the revisited prayer book. So we know of a book made under the reign of Henry VII, the Book of Common Prayers. And we know of the King James Bible, made under King James VI of Scotland and James I of England. They are the same person. James VI of Scotland, he reigned in both countries, so he reigned in Scotland and in England. At that time, they were not part of UK, there was no United Kingdom. We will come to that, but United Kingdom means United Kingdom of Great Britain. That means Great Britain, England, and Scotland, and England, and Wales. So that means Great Britain and Northern Ireland. We don't have a United Kingdom yet. So of a country, Scotland and England, he was the sixth person with the name James in the title of Scotland who had the throne, and he was the first one in England with the name James. So he was, and he had both thrones. He was the James VI of Scotland and the first of England. Under his reign, during this reign, the King James Bible was published, and it is known as the King James. Here, did you have the King James Bible?
So we're writing here very big, the King James Bible. And now we're writing here is known as the King James Version.
So in the text they're explaining us that that book is called King James Version. It is known as the King James Version, but the whole title is telling us it is known as the King James Bible. So he wanted to introduce a revisited prayer book, Charles I now. I don't know, let's say 30 years later. He tried to impose this prayer book on the Presbyterian Church in Scotland, and this led to serious unrest. We know also of much heavy fighting in Ireland around religious, so that the Protestantistic England wanted to introduce Protestantism in Ireland. We know also of that. So now he tried to impose this prayer book onto the Presbyterian Church in Scotland. So in Scotland there was a church, and it is of a type Presbyterian. So there are different types. We know that so far from this book. There's Catholicism, Protestantism, and Presbyterianism. Something like that is the word formed. So he wanted to impose, so not just introduce or say use it, but impose is, I don't know exactly, maybe I'm going to, I don't know. It is stronger. It is more, you have to use this book, I guess. So he wanted to impose this to the Presbyterian Church in Scotland. It's something like this. And we're just doing a forward shoulder circuits, so backwards, in front, down, so back, up, in front, and down. And now the other way around, so backwards, so we come in front, up, back, and down. And the last time. And now we're doing the shrug. Don't do this exercise or any other if it causes pain. We are lifting the arms up. Now we're shrugging the shoulder side. And releasing it all again. And again the arms up. And shrug your shoulders. And release it all again. And again, the arms up. Shrug your shoulders high. And release it all again. And the last time. Shoulders up. No, shoulders up. And releasing it all again. So, Charles I wanted to introduce his book, Revisited Prayer Book, just a revisited prayer book, onto the Presbyterian Church of Scotland. Or, yes, Church in Scotland. Presbyterian Church in Scotland. And this led to serious unrest. Another time they are using an objective word. Serious. They had also used much brutal fighting. So serious unrest. And they had it another time. She avoided, so Elizabeth I avoided serious conflict, was it, I think. In this way, she avoided any serious religious conflicts within England. Let's make that first year again. The Globe Theatre. It was the Globe Theatre. Let's try to actually remember it. It was the Golden Hind, which Sir Francis Drake used to circumnavigate the world. And it is the Globe Theatre. In which is a copy of. I'm repeating it. If one thing cannot be the copy of multiple things, except if these multiple things were themselves replicas. What I mean is that theatre, the Globe Theatre, does not look like a theatre of the time in which William Shakespeare's plays were actually staged, performed. They don't look like that. They are an overall thing out of all of them. There were ones with a balcony, I don't know, one with a balcony, one with a big floor, one with 100 seats, one with 50 seats, and this Globe Theatre is just an overall thing, not how actually one of them looked. I guess, otherwise they mean that with a copy of all of them. It is just the middle way between all of them, and not how one of them exactly looked. Except all of them, 500 years ago, looked all the same. Otherwise, that is not how not a single one of them looked. Or just one of them. But the others look differently. And then we still don't know, if we are standing before the Globe Theatre, how these theatres looked. We just know of one of them. But it is an immense difference. So it led to serious unrest that Charles I wanted to introduce a revisited prayer book in Scotland. A Scottish army was formed and Charles could not find the money he needed for his own army without the help of Parliament. So for 11 years Charles I could reign and could find the money for himself or raise the money to do the things necessary. But now when he wanted to introduce a revisited prayer book onto the Presbyterian Church of Scotland, there was an uprising and he couldn't find the money to build his own army against the Scottish army. A Scottish army was formed and Charles could not find the money he needed for his own army without the help of Parliament. Next exercise, legs are standing wide apart, we're going into the knees. We are hinging forward with a straight back, letting the arms hang. And now we are pinching the shoulder blades together, so scapulars. And do that with strength on the muscles. And press them together. Now make fists and lift the arms up and still press the scapulars together. And lift the arms down and the scapulars. And directly a second time. Pinch the scapulars together and do a bit of effort. Now make fists and bring the arms up. Pinch the scapulars together. Lift the arms down and the scapulars. And the second exercise. Into the knees, inch forward with a round back this time. Let the arms hang. Turn the arms to the inside. Lift the arms high up and bring the arms together. Straighten slowly up. Bring the shoulders down and together. The arms high up and together, the shoulders down and together. And that again with effort. Arms high up and together, shoulders down. Arms high up and together, shoulders down and together. Release the arms, shoulders. And sink into the knees and forward with a round back. Let the arms hang, turn the arms to the inside, the arms high up and together. Straighten up, shoulders down and together. Let the arms high up and together, shoulders down and together. Arms high up and together, shoulders down and together. And my clock has stopped now. I don't know how much time we have left, but I know it in my head. So we have time for the sundial. We are maybe outside with something to drop, which doesn't shatter if it falls onto the ground. It's also not too heavy. And let it fall and catch it again. Lift it up and let it fall again. And you try to have a straight arm on the other side. Let the finger fall. And we just stretching one arm in front. And the other one. And we can continue for some unknown time. Let's not do that, let's just repeat. So, Elizabeth I was skillful to manage the Parliament House of Lords and House of Commons. Her inheritors, James I and Charles I, were not so skillful. They believed in the divine right of kings. Charles I, for example, believed that he didn't have to call the Parliament if he needed to raise money, something like that. He tried to rule in line with principle that he thought he should not have to seek approval from the Parliament. For 11 years that worked, but when he wanted to introduce a revisited prayer book in Scotland onto the Presbyterian Church of Scotland, this led to serious unrest. A Scottish army was formed, and Charles I could not find the money without the help of the Parliament. I thank you very much, and until the next time.